Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the InsurTech Summit 2021 presented to you by CXO Global Forum. After that amazing presentation by Carmelo Pashmi and Omer Khalid, we present to you another very interesting presentation and session. It's called the Fireside Chat. The speaker is Mr. Omer Morshed. He's the CEO at Centegy, and Mr. Imran Ali, who's the COO. Over to you, Omar Saab. You have the
Thanks.
floor.
Thank you for that. I'm going to perhaps be a little more boring than the others. We're if you like, we specialize in back-end insurance systems, and sometimes we talk about. But when I thought about it, I said, "Is this InsurTech?" And surely it is. We provide technology solutions to the insurance industry, so I assume it does qualify as InsurTech. So Centegy has been providing. Centegy was born out of a company called Siddharth Heather, and under that name, we started providing insurance solutions as far back as 1987. And currently, we've got 14 in Pakistan, 14 general insurance couple companies, a TPA, and also two companies outside Pakistan using what we call IGIS, which is basically our solution. And it's basically a backend solution, so it's a policy admin system plus an integrated accounting system. So it takes everything from policy issuance to underwriting to pricing, all the way down to your claims, reinsurance, etc., down to the final position, which is usually accounting entries and related reporting, both regulatory and otherwise. So it's basically the backbone of insurance business systems. The last few years, we've had seen a lot of players jumping into the what we call the InsurTech space, mostly focusing on what we front-end systems, so mobile applications, portals, and reporting. So they're all there, and what we've done is our whole philosophy is to be very, if you like, very client-centric. So meet our clients' requirements. So if that's been the requirement, we've provided integration to both ends, to both at the back end and the front end. So to enable companies to be able to perhaps use mobile applications to and then integrate into our solutions. And as you see later, that's something that we've also got into. But at the moment, that's what we do. So our focus is the technology automating the basic transaction processing systems, and that's important, I think, right? Why? Because if you don't have your basic systems automated, then you can't do all these things about front-end insurance systems issuing policies, which then have to be administered manually. That's not possible. So it's very, very important to have the systems working. It also gives, once a company automates, you'll find that when you take companies into the automation for the first time, a lot of issues get sorted out in terms of discipline, in terms of having business rules that are well defined, and so on and so forth. So Centery's approach has been always that we look at our clients' needs, leverage experience, and also look to see what we can potentially give advantage to our clients. So insights to drive, and based on either regulatory requirements or these insights that we can think that the clients can get from the data that we've gathered. So based on that, we then focus on which direction we should go to in order to develop additional modules and so on. And today, the two big drivers for us and for others. One, there's a regulatory bit, which I'll come to, because you see down below, you see IFRS 17, right? But the two big drivers have been customer engagement. Now, when we talk about customers, it's a policyholder, it is surveyors, it is motor workshops, it is health providers. All of them we treat as customers, right? Potentially. So we need to see how best to engage with them. And the second is data. Obviously, that's a big buzzword. Things like big data and data analytics. The thing that we've been doing for years, but obviously with the way that the technology platforms have given capacity to do things that we couldn't think of before, right? So I think one of the earlier speakers, I think it was Rehan Batsab, he mentioned telematics and so on. The fact that you can actually track a car's driving behavior right through a journey and store it and therefore use it meaningfully. Just that capacity itself, gives you an opportunity to do things that you would not be able to do otherwise, right? But being more realistic as to what our focus is, the Pakistani general insurance market. So what we have in the pipeline are these, which I then thought that I'll briefly touch. First is the IFRS solution. So as you know, and as the chairman SEC mentioned in the presentation in the morning, the SECP has required the implementation of IFRS 17 in a four-stage matter. At the moment, they're focusing on what's called the gap analysis, but then eventually the IFRS 17 solutions have to be rolled out, right? And I'll talk a little bit about what Centegy is doing to try and address that need. Then we come to big data and BI, right? That's if you like the big buzzwords. What can do? So one can talk theory, but with Centegy being the if I can put it that way, being the largest provider to the of technology solutions to the local general insurance industry, right? We feel it's our responsibility to try and see where we can go there. And the two things I will talk about before I get into the other things that one is that when you talk about things like IFRS 17 solutions or big data and BI tools, one has to keep an eye in Pakistan not just at the ability to do things, right? Because surely one can go and buy solutions internationally, and that those can be implemented. We are no different to the insurance industry, insurance market internationally. But there is an issue about affordability and support, right, which is a key concern to a lot of solutions. So if you talk about IFRS 17, so like what the Insurance Association of Pakistan has done is they've banded together and they've hired a consulting firm to provide an if you like gap analysis for up to 28 companies in one, all directed at trying to economize, and that's a genuine concern. So it's not something that we should look down upon. It's a genuine concern. So when we look to design these solutions that we're talking about, we have one eye on that aspect, that whatever we do should be affordable to our customer base, which is the general insurance industry of Pakistan. We also we talked about I think going towards telematics and usage-based insurance is much more sophisticated. But what Pakistan's if you look at the Pakistan non-life industry, we're still very antiquated in terms of pricing. So Centegy sort of works actively throughout the world, and obviously what we see in other parts of the world is that we'll come to the rating engine, is that the rating is far more sophisticated and more scientific. And surely, especially with the coming of IFRS 17, Pakistan will also move in that direction. We also have a host of plug-and-play applications for customers, policyholders, surveyors, workshops, and so on. But I think the timing of the presentation won't let me cover that. But I'll try and give you a flavor of the first three in the next 15 minutes, which I have left. So IFRS 17, this is obviously a major intervention, most of for life companies, and therefore the technology that's required to try and provide a solution to life companies is far more complex than for non-life. So we've kept our focus. What's our focus? Is the non-life industry of Pakistan, right? And we've tried to respond to that need. So surely, again, as with everything else, there are solutions available internationally. There's lots of solutions which, both for the actuarial software, you see there's two parts to it: the actuarial calculations and the IFRS 17 calculations itself. But these solutions tend to be expensive when we talk in terms of Pakistani rupees and looking at the size of our industry. Now, one can go for an Excel solution, but that's not long term. That's short term. So there is a need for a solution that can cater to the industry. So again, keeping our focus, we recognize that the majority of our customers, which is the local non-life industry, will use what's called the premium allocation approach model for the liability for remaining coverage. So we recognize that, and but we also recognize the fact that when we talk about the liability for incurred claims, there will be a need for actual cash flow projections, right? So we recognize both these things. So based on that, we've basically designed two add-ons to IGIS, which is Ascent's basic, if you like, general insurance admin system. One is an actuarial engine. So it does both the basic PA calculations and generates cash flows for LIC. And the second one is the IFRS 17 engine, which does the actual IFRS 17 calculations, allows you to generate accounting entries and generate the disclosure requirements that are required as a part of IFRS 17. And for that purpose, so there's a bit of internal integration. We will use our BI engine for generating those reports, including disclosures, right? Gives you a little bit of a pictorial view. So on the left, you see the actual IGIS database, which is basically our admin system. Then we have if you like, what we call the actuarial engine. What will it do? It'll extract premiums and exposure. It'll calculate the earned premiums based on that and the earned exposure. It'll extract payments, paid and outstanding claims data, and create paid and incurred claims triangles. All of you have heard of famous triangles based on which things like IBNR are determined, right? Now, because it's IFRS 17, we will need to pull some data from our general ledger. Now, most of our clients use our own general ledger system, but in case there is a third-party one, we'll need to integrate and pull data from there relating to actual expenses. So that's the we will give an interface. So if you have your own internal actuaries or you have actual consultants, we'll have an interface to be able to review that and make apply what we call actuarial judgments, to make adjustments that are required. And eventually, at the end, what we'll get as an output, which is the center cylinder, if you like, is the PA calculations themselves, the liability for incurred claims cash flows, and the simple risk adjustment that's required as part of. So we don't intend to go into, if you like, like stochastic based calculations for risk adjustment. We're talking about a simple risk adjustment that will simply add a certain percentage on, assuming that the stochastic calculations are done outside the system. So that's the first part. And then you need to go on to the second part, which is the IFRS 17 engine. There should have been arrowed from the cylinder to the engine itself, which does all the things that are required of IFRS 17 calculation. Discounts, unwinds discounting, does revenue recognition, takes data from the general ledger and does actual expected calculations. And then finally, there will be a mapping of the chart of accounts to the IFRS 17 calculation, which will generate the accounting entries, which will feed into GL. So that's where from that, hopefully we'll give you an interface to be able to generate both financial statements as well as the disclosure requirements. So that we feel will be now the timing for that would be hopefully the actual engine should be there before the end of this year, implemented at hopefully the client or two, and the IFRS 17 engine in the first half of next year. We then get on to the big data platform, right? So the IFRS 17 engine also will rest on the big data platform because it'll help us produce the reports that are required, right? The one thing I just focus on, again, keeping in line with our philosophy, we want to provide economical solution to clients. We've gone with the open platform. So the platform is built on best-in-class Hadoop framework, which is also used by a lot of the Fortune 500 companies. And we will basically, what that allows us to use, if you like, significant, very large volumes of data to be able to provide quick reporting requirements to clients. So that's what's there. We will obviously, as with the IFRS 17 platform, provide a seamless integration between the insurance company's core system, which is IGIS. Now, theoretically, these things can be used by companies which are not using our own system, but our focus obviously will first be our own customers, because we believe that using our systems for some of them over 30 years, we owe them a duty to provide them solutions when they have a need. So that'll be our focus, but there's no reason why this can't be provided to other customers as well. Right? And then finally, we focus on the rating engine. Now, at the moment, we have very, very basic rating in Pakistan. So if you have a car, you don't even look to see who's driving the car. We look at the car and say, this is what it's going to cost you. And yeah, if you put in a tracking device, it'll cost you a little less because there's a less chance of it being stolen or so on. Right? But that's not the way it works elsewhere. So elsewhere, you might get pricing based on exactly where your car is parked most of the time. What do you use it for? How much do you drive it in a day? Who the driver is? Is the driver, this famous thing, younger drivers get charged more, right? And most parts of the world, women get charged less, but that might be different in Pakistan. sorry for that sexist joke, but the thing that you can have a rating engine which can take up different parameters and generate a scientific rate is something that we do have an actuarial associated firm, but we're not actuaries. So what we provide is a rating engine. So you enable not just a fixed rating pattern that today I'm going to use this, tomorrow I want to change. You have to go back and change the system. No, we provide you a tool which allows you to define the rating, and then you can tweak it from time to time. Obviously, the actual design of how you will rate, what parameters you use, what pricing parameters you use, that's something that's for the business or for the actuaries to decide, and not for Centegy system. But we provide the tool to do that. So there's a pretty complex rule engine which then links into things like the parameters that are available in the system, things like perils, things like where you're located, where the risks are located, and so on and so forth, right? And we hope that the future direction of this is to then, which we've done to a bit. We had done to a bit. We no longer have a life insurance system. We did used to have one, which we sold the rights to, but we had that in that direction. Is to then try and help in making underwriting decisions and rating decisions intelligently based on underlying big data. But that obviously is something for the future. But the whole architecture has been designed, keeping that eventual objective in mind. So coming to that, just to give you a little bit of an overview of what Centegy's insurance solution suite is. There is a general insurance. There is a the takaful capability. There are some specific things in takaful that need to be. There is an intelligent underwriting system, as I said, which we call a rating engine. So far it's limited to rating, but in future it could be intelligent enough. So far it's limited to rating using parameters that you define, right? Rules and parameters that you define. In future, it could be interactive. It could go and look at your data and make those rating decisions for you, right? That's the direction in which we are headed. We have a portal for medical. We have workflow and document engine system. It's a special thing for insurers, and we do have a range of mobile applications, right? Which at the moment the one you see is for medical, but we do have a range of medical applications that are in the pipeline. Mobile applications for both your simple issue of simple insurance products for surveyors and claim processing and so on. So that I hope has given you given you a little bit of where Centegy is and where Centegy is going to go. I said we felt that if there's an insurance technology conference, that we have to be part of it, right? Because we do provide technology solutions to a lot of insurance companies in Pakistan. So that really is it for me. So back to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your time. We appreciate it. And, I learned a lot of new things today. And it's encouraging to see how much Pakistanis are doing in the world of InsurTech. So hats off to you. Please
Thank you.
keep contributing. Please keep
I will.
contributing to the knowledge
I
economy.
will just to let you know that we do a lot of work outside Pakistan, and Imran's currently managing a project that's being implemented. So that's gives you an idea of where we've gone.
Brilliant, brilliant. All the best to you.
Thank you.
Please keep in touch and keep contributing to the knowledge economy. Thank you very much for your time, Mr. Omer Morshed and Mr. Imran.
Thank you.
We look forward to seeing more of you. And ladies and gentlemen, that's all for now. But we've got another international speaker lined up in the next 5 minutes. Please don't tune out. We'll see you soon.